Hello there. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. It is the middle of the week, hump day, miracle list. It is a great week so far. And of course, earlier today on my Twitter feed, right around lunchtime, I guess maybe around noontime, got the word of Criterion Collection's June 2023 titles. So very excited to hear about the new titles coming from the Criterion Collection in the month of June. Of course, that is a month before we get what we hope to be the July 50% off sale at Barnes& Noble, the summer sale that Barnes& Noble has had for a number of years, twice a year in July and November for the entire month, where they sell all Criterion titles for 50% off. Fingers crossed that that tradition will continue in July. These June titles are coming out right before what we hope will be that summer sale. So let's get into these titles. It's going to be, I think, a pretty interesting month. Of course, I'm still processing, these titles that have been announced and really looking forward to hearing what you all think about these titles. I do have, them listed here. We're going to go through each one of them as we typically do every month, but I'm really looking forward to hearing what you all think about these titles because I know for me personally, I haven't seen a lot of these films. So these are going to be new discoveries for me. So really excited about it. Quick question though, does the time change affect you as much as it affects me? Because I know like ever since like a couple of nights ago when we leaped ahead an hour, I have just been dragging, especially Monday night around 6 o'clock. My whole household, we just flatten out. So I think we're in recovery mode. We're almost getting adjusted to the time, but let me know in the comments section if the time change throws you for a loop like it does me. But anyway, let me give a quick rundown of what we have for the month of June, because this is a pretty packed month. We've got 4 Blu-ray release Tuesdays in the month of June, and we've got 5 titles coming out from the Criterion Collection. So we got 5 titles for the month leading into what we hope will be the July Barnes& Noble 50% off sale, and including an exciting box set that was announced. Criterion gave us a sneak peek of the June titles last week with the announcement of a very exciting box set. So we'll talk about that. We're getting 2 more 4K titles. So every month I want to know, are we getting any new 4K releases? Big green check on that. We're getting 2 new 4K titles. They are both upgrades of existing Blu-ray titles or editions in the Criterion Collection. And we've got 4 countries represented: Italy, the United States, the United Kingdom, and France. So we have 4 countries represented in this month. We've got 1 title coming out on June the 6th, Tuesday, June the 6th. We got another title coming out June the 13th. On Tuesday, June the 20th, we have 2 titles coming out. And then the month will wrap up with a pretty big release on Tuesday, June the 27th. So we're about to get into these titles, but before we do, let me go out here and see who is all out here this evening. So let's take a look. I want to say in advance, thank y'all for joining. Those of you who are already here, and those of you who will pop in, and even those of you who will join on replay. Thank you for watching. Adrian, hello. Hello to you as well. That's me saying good evening to everybody and saying hello to Adrian, who popped on there. Jerison Horatian, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it too. I'm looking forward to these titles. And he's saying hello to me, and I'm saying hello back. An internet user says evening. Good evening to you. Evening to Mr. Tony at Basement Blues, my neighbor here in the state of Georgia. Mr. Tony, how are you doing, sir? We have Sean Zernecki saying hello to everybody. Hello, Sean. Hope you're doing well. Adam Khan, how are you doing, sir? Hello to you. Jerison, does that mean that more of David Lynch's and Richard Linklater's films will also be released in Ultra 4K? Well, we shall see. I mean, of course, we recently got David Lynch's Lost Highway on 4K toward the end of last year. That was an excellent release. That is one of my favorite releases right now of a David Lynch film, right up there with Mulholland Drive. I was really blown away by that film. And of course, Richard Linklater, the recent release of Dazed and Confused on 4K. So we'll see if we get more of their titles on the 4K format. But those are 2 excellent ones. If we do get a flash sale coming up here, or with the upcoming, hopefully 50% off Barnes & Noble sale, The Lost Highway and Dazed and Confused on 4K are highly, highly recommended. So Adrian's saying hello to everybody, hoping we're all having a good day. Same to you, man. Hope we are all having a great day. Mr. Island 007-100. Hi, hope everyone's having a good week, even if we still haven't gotten a flash sale. Yeah, I tell you what, that is the big question right now, isn't it? I mean, Island 007-100, are we going to get a 50% off 24-hour flash sale from Criterion? That is the big question right now out there for those of us who follow the collection. So we shall see. I was thinking we might get one this week. I was thinking it was going to happen this Tuesday, but of course it hadn't happened. So my fingers are crossed that maybe next Tuesday. If not then maybe for the first time in several years, it's not going to happen. So I guess we shall see. We shall have to wait and see. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it will happen. Let's see. Popeye says hello. Hi, Popeye. Jerison, Barry Jenkins comes to the Criterion Collection. That could be a hint that more of his films will come to the collection. Maybe a Criterion Collection edition of Moonlight. Who knows? We shall see. You never know. That would be cool. I have not seen Moonlight yet. Pova says, hi, James and everyone. New subscriber here. Well, thank you. Welcome, Pova. Hope you are doing well and having a great evening. Ethan, Renoir is one of the greatest of all filmmakers, but I upgraded my Criterion DVD of Rules of the Game a few years ago. I'm not doing it again. Yeah, I understand. If you recently upgraded from DVD to the Blu-ray edition that I have over here, of the wonderful Rules of the Game, I can understand if that you may not want to triple dip. So that makes sense. saying thumbs up there. The Servant is a great film. Great to hear. It'll be a first time watch for me. The re-release of the rules of the game will be interesting. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have the current Blu-ray edition, so again, it's just one of those things where you're wondering, okay, how much of an upgrade is this going to be over the Blu-ray edition I have? Now, I think these types of questions are a lot easier if you're going from DVD to 4K. In those cases, if your current copy is DVD and they're releasing a 4K, I don't think it's much of a decision. I think it's a much easier decision to say time to upgrade. But if you're going from a Blu-ray and if it's a really good Blu-ray and you're happy with the picture quality on that Blu-ray and you have nice upscaling in your TV, that's where the decision becomes, I think, a little bit more difficult. And I think you may want to just see some reviews, see how much of a jump are you really getting visually, and is it really worth it, for you? It's sort of a subjective kind of thing. Lots of Terry Gilliam 4K upgrades this year. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. It usually doesn't hurt, but it did this year. What doesn't hurt? What doesn't hurt, Sean? Clarify. Adam, most excited about the Medicines for Melancholy. Good movie. Okay, yeah, Barry Jenkins. I'm looking forward to it. That's one of the things I like about the collection. Is the blind buys. The discoveries. I've gotten to the point where I sort of let my initial reaction to these announcements. I sort of temper my initial reactions if my initial reactions are, oh, I don't really know if this is a good slate. Because oftentimes what ends up happening is as I discover some of these films, I fall in love with them and I realize, wow, this is why, they're releasing these titles. So see here. Oh yes, great question. Internet user, you raise a really good question here. I wonder if they'll be releasing Brazil in 4K. That's another Terry Gilliam film. It is an early spine number in the collection. And I think a lot of people would be very excited if they release Brazil on 4K. I would have almost rather they announce that rather than what they announce. But anyway, that would be a very exciting announcement to get that. Magnitude Rev says hi, James. Hello, Magnitude Rev. Good. Hope you're doing well. Basement Blues, Mr. Tony. The time change has got me too, James. Yeah, I'm with you, Tony. I mean, it throws me for a loop every year. Some people like the fallback. You gain an hour. I don't like either of them. Whether I'm gaining an hour or losing an hour, it just throws my body clock off because I'm used to getting up at a certain time. I'm in that rhythm, and that hour it's so strange the effect that 1 hour can make. It just throws your whole body off. So yeah, I'm with you, Tony. I feel like the flash sale will be next week for the release of Inland Empire. Yeah, I would not be surprised. I would definitely be on flash sale watch for this coming Tuesday because it seems like that might be, fingers crossed, we shall see. Jerison, that would get everybody excited if that happened. What are you referring to? The potential flash sale with Inland Empire, or the or a Brazil announcement? Kino Lorber hasn't had a sale since December either. I'm starting to wonder if they decided to stop doing sales. They usually do one in March. Yeah, we'll see. That's the big question. Moonlight is great. That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, it won Best Picture, famously so. Of course, I think everybody remembers when La La Land was announced from the stage as being the Best Picture winner, only for that to be corrected on live television when they had to come on there and give the correct envelope. Ethan says, I wish they still had the rights to Grand Illusion and could do a 4K of that. Yeah, that would be interesting. That's spine number one. So that would be fascinating. I think Studio Canal has that. Is that correct? Sean says the flash sale should be coming up next Tuesday because Criterion Channel users have been getting their gift code emails. That's usually a sign of an upcoming flash sale. Oh, so someone doing a little bit of some forensic digging there, sort of following the breadcrumbs of some potential clues there. So that does sound And this could be just me wishful thinking, but that does sound like a pretty good sign. So again, let's be on the watch for a flash sale, and if there is, I will certainly be announcing it for sure. You haven't seen Moonlight before? I have not. Magnitude, you absolutely need to. It's my second favorite Best Picture winner of the 2020s, only behind Parasite. Okay, yeah. I mean, I I I I have not seen that film yet, and I definitely want to check it out at some point. Is it? I think it's available on 4K, so I'll need to pick that up at some point. Basement Blues, Mr. Tony. I'm holding off on the 4K upgrades if I already own the Blu-ray Criterion. Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting. I for one of the 4K announcements this month, it is an upgrade of a Criterion Blu-ray that I have held off picking up. So I've never picked up the Criterion Blu-ray. So if I do go for it, this will be a good time because I never got the Blu-ray. Let's see. ESC Katie, the sale should be 21st. I got my coupon this week, so it's normally the next week. Ah, okay. That's good to know. Good to know. I've seen Rooks of? Hello, Ro. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. The time change. Oh, yeah, Sean. Yeah. Yeah. It definitely it usually throws me for a loop for a good 3 days. Probably by tomorrow, Friday, I'm good. But it just takes a few days for me to get adjusted. I've seen Rules of the Game, but never bought it on Blu-ray. I'll definitely pick it up on 4K. Yeah. See, you're in the perfect position. If you have not bought the Criterion Blu-ray, go straight to the 4K. It's an easy decision. Perfect. Magnitude, I've been on flash sale watch for an entire month now. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, based on what people are saying here, if they're correct, your patience might be richly rewarded in a few days. We shall see. Some aren't a fan of the new rules of the game art, but I'm happy to see they did something to differentiate it from the Blu-ray instead of being like a 4K disc with a seventh seal in the same package. Yeah, we'll talk about that because that is something new that we're seeing from Criterion with the change of the cover. I wish there were some other changes, but they it does look like we're getting new artwork. So let me pause there on the comments. We'll come back to them. And let's get into these actual titles. Now, we've got 5 titles for the month. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into this. We're going to look and see what we have. So I'm going to do a screen share here, as we like to do. We're going to go to the Criterion site and see what the folks up in New York are cooking up for us. All right, this is the screen we like to see. June titles announced. Shop now. I think we will, but maybe we'll wait a few days to see if we're going to get a little bit of a discount. But anyway, we'll go ahead and click now. So you see here selections coming soon. And of course, if we'll do a quick little review of what we have coming up this coming week, we've got Inland Empire, David Lynch's film. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Be very interested to hear what y'all think of this title. I've never seen Inland Empire, so looking forward to checking it out. It's coming out on Blu-ray on this coming Tuesday, March the 21st. And then the month of March is wrapping up with Chilly Scenes of Winter from Joan Micklin Silver. So I'm looking forward to that title as well. The Fisher King is getting a 4K release in April, along with the Seventh Seal. And the new director in the collection, Barry Jenkins, is getting a title in June, but he's going to enter the collection with this. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting myself mixed up. No, this is Steve McQueen. Sorry, got myself mixed up. This is Steve McQueen, Small Axe. And then we're getting Triangle of Sadness, which was nominated for Best Picture this year. And this is from Ruben Oslund. So, with Triangle of Sadness, I've heard mixed reviews on that title. That's getting a 4K release. It was a Best Picture nominated film. It's got Woody Harrelson in it. I've heard people say it is the worst film ever. I've heard people say they love it. I don't really know what to think. So let me know in the comment section if you've seen that film. Wings of Desire. This is an excellent film that's getting a 4K release along with Branded to Kill. These are both excellent films released by Criterion. They're getting 4K releases here, and I'm really excited about those. And then we're getting from Peter Bogdanovich Targets, Petite Maman, from Celine Siama, who is the director of Portrait of a Lady on Fire, that I'll be picking up soon. Thelma and Louise. Up until this box set that was recently announced, Thelma and Louise on 4K from Criterion is, in my mind, the biggest release of the year so far. This 4K release coming out at the end of May, around the time of Memorial Day. This release, I think, is the biggest release of the year up to this point. Thelma and Louise on 4K, the Ridley Scott film. So looking forward to that. Now we're getting to the June titles. Got a packed month. Got these 5 titles up here. Let's go into the very first one, which I think is an exciting release that I'm looking forward to. And it is a film from Jean Renoir from 1939. It's called The Rules of the Game, or Les Règles du Jeu in French. The Rules of the Game. It's a 1939 film by Jean Renoir. It's considered one of the greatest films ever made. Jean Renoir's The Rules of the Game is a scathing critique of corrupt French society, cloaked in a comedy of manners in which a weekend at a marquis country chateau lays bare some ugly truths about a group of haute bourgeois acquaintances. The film has had a tumultuous history. It was subjected to cuts after the violent response of the audience at its 1939 premiere, and the original negative was destroyed during World War II. It wasn't reconstructed until 1959. That version, which has stunned viewers for decades, is presented here. So yeah, this film had been lost for decades, and people thought at one point that it was lost forever. And they were able to reconstruct it in 1959. And this is coming out on 4K Ultra HD June the 6th. Now what you're seeing here is the new cover that people have been talking about. And when I saw this, I was really intrigued because Criterion so far, whenever they've done these 4K upgrades, they've kept the same cover, the same packaging, the same everything basically, and just release it on a 4K disc. But in this case, they're giving us this new cover here that, I can, I can dig it. It's pretty cool, but it's an upgrade or over this Blu-ray edition that came out several years ago. It's spine number 216 in the collection, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm looking forward to this release. It is a new 4K restoration, so that's important to note, with an uncompressed monaural soundtrack. We're getting one 4K Ultra HD disc of the film and one Blu-ray with the special features. Now, the thing to sort of keep in mind is there's no mention of HDR, so I don't think we're getting Dolby Vision. We're not getting HDR10. So that's something to keep in mind. But this is a new 4K restoration, so that's where you get into how much of a visual upgrade are you getting over this Blu-ray edition that we have here. So that remains to be seen. So it looks like we're getting this new cover, but I would expect everything else probably is going to be the same. So as you look at, the booklet that's included, I wonder if that's going to have this new cover. But we get this full stapled booklet, which I think is great. It has some nice essays in here, some nice information, on the film. But I think everything else is going to be the same, especially when you look on the back at the special features. The special features all look to be the same. Now, this is a pretty loaded disc from a special feature standpoint, but when you look at the audio commentary, the comparison of the film's 2 endings, the selected scene analysis, everything that was on this Blu-ray edition is being ported over to this new 4K edition, and there's no new special features. So that's something to keep in mind. So for those of you who have not already picked up this Blu-ray edition, this is definitely the way to go. But if you already have this edition, that's where you get into the question, is this worth an upgrade or not? And that is a question that only you can answer for yourself. I would definitely recommend reading some reviews to see how much of a visual upgrade it is. And depending on how much you love this film, that's going to decide whether or not this is a worthy upgrade for you. So, again, some really nice special features, on this upcoming 4K release. Very important to note that this is going to be available on a Blu-ray edition as well as a DVD option, along with this 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray combo pack option. And again, this is coming out Tuesday, June the 6th. So very exciting. And I am going to play this trailer and we can take a quick look at it.
Mes chers amis, je vais avoir le plaisir de vous présenter ma dernière acquisition. Et elle est l'aboutissement de ma carrière. Je crois que la chose vous plaira. Je vous laisse juge. Je vous aime, Christine. Me voici d'avis de donner une grande fête en l'honneur de Jurieux. Oh, nous jouerons la comédie. Nous nous déguiserons.
Tu es un ange dangereux, mais un ange tout de même.
La prochaine fois que je te prends à parler à ma femme, je te fous un coup de fusil.
Pendant 3 ans, mon existence a été basée sur le mensonge.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of the trailer. This is an excellent film from Jean Renoir. There's also another release from Jean Renoir in the collection that I have, A Day in the Country, that is excellent. It comes in at like around 41 minutes, so it's a pretty short watch, but it's packed with special features. This is one of his greatest films, and I can definitely recommend it. It's been a number of years since I've seen it, but this is an excellent film. It comes in at Spine 216. The Criterion Collection is getting a nice 4K Ultra HD upgrade. I'm expecting this to be a nice visual upgrade over the Blu-ray. That would be my expectation, but I'm going to look for some reviews before deciding whether or not it's going to be an upgrade for me. So if you have not already picked up this Blu-ray edition, I would definitely recommend checking out this 4K release, The Rules of the Game, Les Règles de Jeu from Jean Renoir. So that's coming out on Tuesday, June the 6th. The second title that's coming out is, yes, another film from Terry Gilliam, the wonderful Terry Gilliam. He is getting a lot of 4K releases. Recently Arrow Video released 12 Monkeys on 4K, which I picked up, which is a very nice release. And of course, the Criterion Collection, one of the first releases of the year, is this release right here, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, the 1988 film from Terry Gilliam that came out, which, interestingly enough, it is amazing these connections that you find out after the fact. The recent Oscar winner for Best Adapted Screenplay, Sarah Polley, who directed the film Women Talking that I did a review on this past Saturday, I did not realize she was the little girl in this film, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. And she also appears in another Criterion edition that I'm going to watch pretty soon and do a review for this weekend, Exotica. So I had never made the connection that she appeared in those films, but she directed Women Talking, which I did a review on this channel that I thought was very good. And so, she appears in this film from Terry Gilliam that got a 4K release. And now from Terry Gilliam, we're getting a 4K release of Time Bandits. So this is the 1981 film from Terry Gilliam. It is a fantastic voyage through time and space. A boy named Kevin escapes his gadget-obsessed parents to join a band of time travelers. So he's armed with a map stolen from the Supreme Being, Ralph Richardson. They plunder treasure from Napoleon, Ian Holm, and Agamemnon, Sean Connery. But the evil genius, David Warner, is watching their every move. So this is a film, I'll be honest, I've seen this Blu-ray edition from Criterion in Barnes & Noble for years, and I just haven't pulled the trigger. And now I'm glad I hadn't, because if I do ever pick this up, I'll be picking up this 4K release. So this is an example where I don't have the difficult decision of whether or not is worth an upgrade, because I never picked up the Blu-ray. So you'll see here that this is coming out on Tuesday, June the 13th. It's going to be a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray combo pack. There's a Blu-ray offering and a DVD offering. So that's good to know that you have those choices, and that will be available. We are getting a new 4K restoration supervised by director Terry Gilliam with uncompressed stereo soundtrack. We're getting a 4K Ultra HD disc of the film presented in Dolby Vision HDR. So I love to see that. We're getting the Dolby Vision HDR and one Blu-ray of the film with special features. So Now, because I don't have the Blu-ray edition, I can't compare these features, but my suspicion and my guess is that all of these features are the same as the features on the Blu-ray. Now, if you happen to have this Blu-ray edition, please, add a comment in the comment section if that's not the case. But it seems like that's been the form so far with these Blu-ray upgrades or these 4K upgrades, is that the special features remain the same release after release, and they're not adding any new special features. They're just adding the 4K disc with the Dolby Vision in the cases where they have the HDR. So the good news is we are getting Dolby Vision HDR on this 4K disc. It is a new 4K restoration. So those are the two things to really take note of. New restoration, 4K with Dolby Vision. So this should be hopefully a pretty nice looking disc. I will say that this disc for Baron Munchausen is a very nice looking disc. And I did a review of this on my channel at the beginning of the year. And this is an addition that I enjoyed. I can't say that I absolutely love this film. It's not one of my favorites, but it's a nice addition. And I would say that if you are a fan of Terry Gilliam and if you really love this film, no brainer to pick this up. And if you're a big fan of Terry Gilliam's work, then definitely consider picking up Time Bandits. This is one that I am having to kind of ponder. Am I going to pick this one up or not? I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments if you plan to pick this one up. So yeah, that's Terry Gilliam, Time Bandits. So let me stop sharing for a moment and let me come out here to see what you all think. What are y'all thinking here? What is on the minds of the people out there in the world here? Just a step. All right. Pova, I think it's a step in the right direction, regardless of what people think of the new artwork. Yeah. With the rules of the game. Yeah, absolutely. James, you hyped for rules of the game and Time Bandits. I would say that I'm intrigued by the rules of the game. I already know I like that film. It's just a matter of how much of an upgrade is it visually. I bought that edition years ago, so it's just going to be, is it enough of an upgrade visually? And I would only do it on a 50% off sale. Time Bandits, I can't say that I'm super hyped about it. I do want to hear more about it. I do know that I've seen the Blu-ray for years in Barnes & Noble during the sales, and I've never pulled the trigger on it. And now I'm glad I haven't. So it's not as big of a decision to make, but we shall see. If y'all are Time Bandits fans, let us know in the comments. 4K Great Escape Criterion would be great. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I have a new case in my fat hand send chats before I want to hit send. Oh, this it's no worries, Ro. The DVD packaging of the rules of the game was much nicer than the Blu-ray. It was a blue color and had a clear plastic slip cover. Okay. Inland Empire is great. Not one of my favorites by Lynch, but still a very interesting and worthy film. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I have not seen it, but I'm very much looking forward to that title for sure. My personal favorite Ruben Östlund film is Force Majeure, but Triangle of Sadness I am mixed on. It's super funny, but it feels like two different films smashed into one. Okay. I love Triangle of Sadness, but the second half of the film isn't as strong as the first. Okay, that's fair. Thank you for sharing that. If you like The White Lotus, you will like Triangle of Sadness. I have not seen The White Lotus, so I've got some catching up to do. Sean Berg, haven't seen Triangle of Sadness yet. It's on Hulu if you don't want to blind buy. But I think it's amazing that people either really like it or don't like it at all. That's true art to me. Yeah. I've heard the full range of feedback on this movie, so I don't know what to think. I'm just going to just go into it and make up my own mind is what I'm going to do. I'm genuinely surprised to see how the rules of the game has a new cover. This is only the second 4K upgrade from Criterion with a new cover, the other being In the Mood for Love. Oh, that's right. Yes, In the Mood for Love did get a new cover. It sure did. Sure did. That's right. Island 007-100. I had the same DVD, The Rules of the Game. It was released back in 2004. I mean, almost 20 years ago. Traveling Man, Rules of the Game was on the Criterion channel for quite some time. We went to see a physical copy. The Servant Medicine for Melancholy and Pasolini one-on-one are a must. Criterion is breaking me. I understand. The Rules of the Game is a film that I like to see. Yes, it is definitely worth watching for sure. It looks very funny. Yes. Wish Force Majeure got a Criterion release instead of Triangle of Sadness. Okay. Yeah, I need to see Force Majeure. I really do, as well as The Square. Yep. We got Ken. We got Mr. Mid-Level Media. What's up? How are you doing, man? Guess it's the year of Terry Gilliam on 4K. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so far is what? Well, let me see. So far this year is Baron Munchausen. I think at the end of last year we got the 12 Monkeys, or sometime last year, and I'm think I'm blanking on what other film of his is out on 4K recently. But yeah, I mean, it's Terry Gilliam time. Sarah Polley was also the lead in Dawn of the Dead remake. I did not know that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I really, and it's funny. Talk about films that have different feedback from folks. I mean, I recently watched and reviewed Women Talking, and when I put out that review, I've had people, say, I love the film. It's boring. I hate it. you know, so awesome. But yeah, I was very happy for her winning that Oscar because I felt like that film was so well put together. I did not feel it was Best Picture winning worthy. I was very happy with Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was so happy that they won Best Picture. I mean, folks, this is it right here. This is your Best Picture winner right here. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Check this out. This is how awesome this this is how awesome this movie is. Here's your Best Actress. Here's your Best Supporting Actor. Here's your Best Supporting Actress right here, all in the same movie. Here's your Best Picture. Best Director, Best Editing, Best Original Screenplay. I mean, what more do you need to know? I mean, just an incredible epic night for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But yeah, I'll have to check out Dawn of the Dead for sure. The remake. Can we just get the Monty Python films in the collection, please? At least on 4K or a Blu-ray release. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, we shall see. Since Arrow put out a 4K of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in the UK, I wonder if it'll get a release in the States. That's an interesting question. That is another title that I have not pulled the trigger on. I've been in Barnes& Noble for sale after sale, and I would see, okay, there it is. There's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And I look at the cover and I would think to myself, I just don't know about that. So I've never been able to bring myself to pick that one up. I've heard it's not the greatest film. I've heard it's really out there and trippy, and I'm just not sure if it's my kind of film. But let me know if y'all love that film in the comments section. Mid-level media, again, is true. Yep, absolutely. Hey, James, did you pick up The Whale? I did not pick up The Whale, but I was very happy. Okay, so here are 3 of your acting Oscar winners. The other one is Brendan Fraser for The Whale, and I was so happy for him. I can't even tell you. I was happy for him. I was happy for Michelle Yeoh. I was happy for Jamie Lee Curtis. I was happy for Ki Yu Kwan. I was happy for all 4 of them. I just felt like this is just great. I've never felt so great about an Oscars as I did Sunday night. Was so happy. But no, I haven't picked up The Whale yet. And the feedback that I've heard on that is that his performance is better than the film itself. The film itself is just kind of there. It's kind of okay from what I've heard, but his performance really just lifts the proceedings, and he just did such an amazing job. And the effects with the makeup and the CGI to make him that character were very impressive. Universal also put out The Meaning of Life on 4K. Okay, good to know. PDX soap opera. I watched Time Bandits a long time ago, fan of Gilliam, but I didn't really like it much. Maybe I'll watch it again, then determine if I'll get it or not. Yeah, to be honest with you, I am not. So other releases this month from Criterion. Time Bandits is interesting, but it's not one that I'm really targeting, But if I hear some more feedback that might convince me, but as of right now, I may just sort of pass on that for now. But we shall see. From Gilliam, okay. Majesty Rev, man, I just feel so bad for Stephanie Sue. I think she deserved the Best Supporting Actress Oscar over her co-star Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, yeah, that was tough. They were two actresses in the same film nominated in the same category. I hear you, but I was happy for Jamie Lee Curtis. I was very happy for Laurie Strode to win the Oscar. I mean, think about it. Short Round and Laurie Strode both won an Oscar this year. It's been a good year. So, I'll take it. Do you think that there will be a Criterion Collection edition of Everything Everywhere All at Once, maybe included the extended version of it? I don't know. We shall see. You know, I I don't know how I would feel about that. I mean, I guess I could get excited about it if the Daniels were involved with it and they, brought some, supplements to it and some interviews and brought something interesting to the table with it. It already has a nice 4K release. So, I guess it would depend on what Criterion did with that edition. I would easily double dip on an Everything Everywhere All at Once Criterion release. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, if they're bringing something in addition to what we already have, then I think that would be cool. And I think the Daniels, you know, I think the two of them, if they got involved and added some nice stuff to it, that could be very intriguing. I really enjoyed The Whale, and I think that Brendan Fraser absolutely deserved his Oscar. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for this is the year of comebacks. Brendan Fraser, Ke Huy Quan. This is the year of. I was so gratified to see deserving performers finally get theirs. Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, yes, yes. I mean, yes. I was just so happy, because I saw Tar and did a review on this channel, and I absolutely loved Kate Blanchett in her performance in that film. I thought she was wonderful. And in a year, if in a year where there was no Everything Everywhere All at Once, if that film had not come out, then I would have loved for her to win. But to me, this was just Michelle's year, and I am so happy that she won it. Another comeback, also another fellow Canadian. Uh, which Canadian are you speaking of? Is Brendan Fraser? You're talking about Brendan Fraser, or are you talking about Sarah Polley? I know Sarah Polley is Canadian, who won the adapted screenplay Oscar. Let's see. And Raul, I think we'll see an A24 limited edition of Everything Everywhere All at Once before we see a boutique release. Possibly. Okay. So yeah, let's go back into these titles and see what we're getting for the rest of June, and then we'll see what other comments that you have. So let's do another screen share. Let's jump in here. Let's not waste any time. Let's check out the rest of these awesome titles. Let's go. So we talked about Time Bandits. Now let's jump back out here. Now we're getting to two titles coming out on June the 20th, Tuesday, June 20th, including this one here from Joseph Losey. Now, Joseph Losey, you may be familiar, has another release that recently came out, I believe last year, called Mr. Klein from Joseph Losey. So this edition starring Alain Delon came out, I believe, last year. Spy number 1123 came out in 1976. It's a French film from Joseph Losey. So I have not yet picked up Mr. Klein. I've heard good things about it. I think I saw Daisuke Beppu's review of it, and he spoke, very highly of it. So this is one that I definitely want to consider for an upcoming sale. But for the month of June, this Joseph Losey film from 1963 is coming out from the United Kingdom. It's called The Servant. And so this is the prolific, ever provocative Joseph Losey, blacklisted from Hollywood and living in England, delivered a coolly modernist shock to the system of that nation's cinema with this mesmerizing dissection of class, sexuality, and power. A dissolute scion of the upper crust, James Fox, not Jamie Foxx, James Fox, finds the seemingly perfect manservant, a diabolical Bogard. And I think Dirk Bogard played in The Damned, which is released by Criterion, the Visconti film. So I think that's a connection there. During his transition from matinee idol to art house icon to oversee his new London townhouse, but not all is as it seems, as traditional social hierarchies are gradually disturbingly destabilized. Lustrously disorienting cinematography and a masterful script by playwright Harold Pinter merge in The Servant, a tour de force of mounting psychosexual menace. All right, so this is important to note, coming out Tuesday, June 20th, Blu-ray only. So this is not a 4K release. It's coming out on Blu-ray and there's no DVD option. So that is interesting to note. So this is one of those new Blu-ray releases, new spine numbers, spine number 1182 coming in the Criterion Collection with only a Blu-ray option, at least as of what we're seeing right now. This is a new 4K digital restoration, the uncompressed monaural soundtrack. We're getting a new program on director Joseph Losey by film critic Imogen Sarah Smith. So that is very exciting. Imogen Sarah Smith does a great job on all of her, video essays, commentaries. She does great work talking about films. I just love hearing her talk on these Criterion releases. She just brings a great perspective. We're getting a rare interview from 1976 with Losey by critic Michael Cement. So that's interesting. Interview from 96 with screenwriter Harold Pinter. And we're getting interviews with actors Dirk Bogard, James Fox, and Sarah Miles and Wendy Craig, trailer, subtitles, and an essay by author Colm Tobin. So very interesting. Um, this is going to be a complete blind buy for me. And I know very little to nothing about this film. This is my first time hearing about it. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. Let's play a few minutes, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. And this cover is fascinating. This is a really interesting cover. It makes me wonder what is going on in this film. I'm trying to make out all of the imagery that is in here. It just looks to be a very intriguing, mysterious title. And this is just one of those examples of films that Criterion releases that I know nothing about, but I give it a chance, and 90% of the time I end up liking it. And this could be one of those examples. So this is coming in at spy number 11682. It's from the United Kingdom. It is one of two titles this month from the UK. It is from 1963. It comes in at 115 minutes. It is in black and white, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. This is one of those titles I am definitely considering picking up in an upcoming sale. So it's called The Servant from Joseph Losey, the first of two titles coming out on Tuesday, June the 20th. Now, the second title that's coming out on Tuesday, June the 20th is from Barry Jenkins. Barry Jenkins is, of course, this will be his first title in the Criterion Collection. So he is new to the Criterion Collection. If I click on Barry Jenkins right now, you will see that Medicine for Melancholy is the only title that is listed. Now, I believe Barry Jenkins has done some he's done a closet video, so Criterion Closet video, where he comes in and picks out some favorite films from the collection. So definitely check that out. But this is Medicine for Melancholy. It is his 2008 film that comes into 88 minutes, and it is going to be spine number 1183 in the Criterion Collection. It is coming out Tuesday, June the 20th, and it is also coming out on Blu-ray only. So there's no 4K Ultra HD option, no DVD option. It is coming out on a one-disc Blu-ray edition. Now, you'll want to note here it says new high-definition digital master approved by director Barry Jenkins and director of photography James Laxton, and we're getting a 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio. So it sounds like we're getting some pretty nice audio. Let's take a look at the description here. It says one of the great debut features of the 21st century, Barry Jenkins' captivating lo-fi romance Medicine for Melancholy unfolds against the backdrop of a rapidly gentrifying San Francisco, where a one-night stand between two young bohemians, Micah Wyatt Cenac and Joe Tracy Higgins, spins off into a woozy day-long affair marked by moments of tenderness, friction, joy, and intellectual sparring as they explore their relationships to each other, the city, and their own blackness. Shooting on desaturated video, Jenkins crafts an intimate exploration of alienation and connection, graced with the evocative visual palette and empathetic emotional charge that has come to define his work. So, this is really fascinating. This is one of those titles that I'm also interested in. The desaturated, um, uh, approach to shooting definitely intrigues me. Let's take a look at this a couple seconds of this trailer here.
This is a little embarrassing, but I kind of forgot your name.
I don't know if we ever got there.
Yeah, I know we didn't. We were pretty drunk. I'm Micah.
Angela.
Nice to meet you, Angela.
Yeah, so sounds like a pretty interesting title there. So we'll definitely have to check that out when it comes out in the month of June. This is Medicine for Melancholy. Of course, we know Barry Jenkins. He is uh, I will see here, bring up a slide here if I can. Of course, Barry Jenkins is the director of Moonlight, of course, which has been mentioned, here by several people. I have yet to see Moonlight. I've heard great things about it. I know that this was the first of Mahershala Ali's Best Supporting Actor Oscar wins. He think he won 2 in a row or something like that. So he won for this film and then one for Green Book, I believe. So Mahershala Ali won his Oscar in this film, and Barry Jenkins won. He won the Oscar for a Best Adapted Screenplay for this movie, and this movie also won Best Picture, of course, famously so with that whole Oscars mix-up with La La Land and the accountant sort of getting it screwed up. But yeah, this is the Academy Award for Best Picture from 2017, Moonlight, and the director is Barry Jenkins, the same director of the film Medicine for Melancholy, the 2008 film. I believe it was his feature debut. So it looks very interesting, and it is one of the titles that I'm interested in picking up in the month of June. Now, that brings us to the last title that's coming out in the month of June. Let's go ahead and check it out. It is a title that was not teased, but announced last week. And it is a title that a number of people are really excited about. Some people are, very excited. Others are like, no way. Getting a lot of feedback on this one, and I really want to hear what you all think about Pasolini 101. Now, I did a video separately on this when this was announced last week, and this is a very exciting box set of 9 films from Pier Paolo Pasolini. So, of course, Pasolini is the director of Salo, or 120 Days of Sodom, as well as several other films. He has a trilogy that's in the Criterion Collection. But this particular collection is 9 films that were released in the 1960s. So these are early works from the director Pasolini. He's one of the most original and controversial thinkers of the 20th century. Italian polymath Pier Paolo Pasolini embodied a multitude of often seemingly contradictory ideologies and identities, and he expressed them all in his provocative, lyrical, and indelible films. So this is how the set looks. We're going to get this folio here, which just reminds me of the complete films of Agnes Varda. I think it looks to be a similar type of a setup where the discs will just go in this folio book. We're getting a very big book here, stapled book, and we're getting the 9 discs. So it is a Blu-ray set coming out on 9 discs. It's coming out on June the 27th. So this title is coming out right before what we expect to be the July Barnes & Noble sale, 50% off sale. So it might be one that you want to hold off on until the sale happens and maybe get it during the 50% off sale if it happens. And these are the titles that are included. Starting in 1961, Acatone, Mama Roma, Love Meetings, The Gospel According to Matthew. I've heard great things about The Gospel According to Matthew. The Hawks and the Sparrows, Oedipus Rex, Teorema, which Teorema has a separate release in the Criterion Collection. So this is that separate release, a film by Pier Paolo Pasolini. This film stars Terrence Stamp, stars General Zod. So it stars General Zod before he became General Zod, actually a decade before he took that role in Superman. Terrence Stamp starred in this film by Pier Paolo Pasolini called Teorema. And that release has a separate Blu-ray release, but it is one of the 9 films included in this Pasolini 101 set. So if you have not picked up Teorema and you were interested in that film and you're interested in other films from Pasolini, this set might be a good way to go. You also have Porcile and you have Medea from 1969. So it's 9 films from 1961 to 1969 in this epic set called Pasolini 101. So it looks to be a really good starter or primer on this director. You'll see here that this set includes 4K digital restorations of 7 of the films and then 2K digital restorations of Teorema and Medea with uncompressed monaural soundtracks. We're getting shorts, documentaries, a new program on Pasolini's visual style. And this is really interesting because it is told through his personal writing and then narrated by actor Tilda Swinton, which is interesting, and writer Rachel Kushner. So I think that's going to be a very fascinating program to watch with Tilda Swinton. You get audio commentaries on Akatone and Teorema. You got documentaries on Pasolini's life. You have an episode from the French television program Cinéastes de Notre Temps. That's a really good program that's featured on a lot of Criterion discs. So that's excellent to hear. Interviews with filmmakers and scholars, trailers, and some deluxe packaging, including a 100-page book featuring an essay and notes on the film by critics and drawings by Pasolini. So this 100-page book here is what they're referring to. The discs will go in this folio here. This is the box. Here are the 9 discs. So it's a very nice looking set, and it is coming out on Tuesday, June the 27th. Now, it's currently priced at MSRP of $249.95. The price on the Criterion site right now is $199.96. So during a 50% off sale, this would probably go for about $125. So 50% off of $250. So that may be a good time to consider picking this one up. Otherwise, you can pre-order it now on the Criterion site for $199.96. So if you're a huge Pasolini fan, this is an absolute no-brainer. I have not seen any of his films, so I'm looking forward to diving into his filmography. And this is one that I'm taking a very good look at for the upcoming July sale. So this is Pasolini 101. I will go ahead and stop sharing and get back into the stream here and see what people are saying. And we'll go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Ooh, we got a lot of comments here. People are excited this evening. Y'all are excited. Did y'all love the Oscars? Are y'all excited about some of these movies coming out? Let me know what you guys think. Let's see. Oh, yes, you're confirming that the Canadian you're referring to is Brendan Fraser. Okay, good to know. Magnitude Rev says, just knowing how the Daniels have been in the Criterion closet make me think that a Criterion release isn't off the table. That would be interesting. I mean, because I think they would bring some new and fresh stuff to it. So we shall see. Really? See, Angela Bassett was upset that she didn't get the Best Supporting Actress. Yeah, and that's another example of a performer I want to see get theirs. I do want to see Angela Bassett get rewarded, get recognized with an Oscar one of these days. I was happy for Jamie Lee Curtis, but I definitely want Angela Bassett to also, get that golden statue sooner rather than later. So we shall see. I'll probably upgrade my Blu-ray of Res of the Game to 4K, and I have the DVD of Servants, so we'll upgrade there. Triangle of Sadness was a mixed bag. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a lot of mixed stuff on Triangle Sadness. So, we'll see. We'll see. Everything is on Manta Lab's schedule for a one-click steelbook box set. We'll await that. Okay. Mr. Klein is incredible. Definitely one of my favorite releases of last year. Looking forward to The Servant. Okay, I am too. I saw The Servant sometime last year and I would recommend it if you haven't seen it. Sounds good to me. Magnitude Rev said, I never heard of The Servant before today, but what I've been hearing people say about it has me very interested in checking it out. Yeah, I'm interested too. I mean, again, it's going to be a blind buy for me. It's going to be completely uh, a new discovery. And hey, I've had good luck with Criterion discoveries so far. So fingers crossed that this will be another one. Talking about Sarah Polley, she was also in a film called Go from 1999. It was a dark comedy, pretty good. She started out as an actor, then decided to go to more directing. Yeah, folks, I was really impressed with that film, Women Talking. I liked the way that film was shot. I think the cinematographer did a great job. I love the color choice they used in the film. It just had this really neat look to it. And I thought the dialogue was fascinating. It was a very dialogue heavy movie. Kind of reminded me in some ways, it kind of gave me almost a 12 Angry Men vibe, certain aspects of that film. I just really dug it. It's not for everybody. Some people are going to be bored by the movie just based on the format of the film. And it may not be a film that would be interesting to everybody, but I loved it. Let's see. Short Round was also in the Goonies. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, A24 seems to be keeping their releases in-house. I got their Fancy Blue of Marcel, and it's very nice, but not upset Criterion isn't getting them. Yep. Thumbs up from Jerrison. There are plenty of classic international films that need releases. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. Sarah Polley was also in The Sweet Hereafter. I mentioned before, I never cared much for Fear and Loathing, so I won't get that. Fisher King will definitely upgrade to 4K. Yeah, the Fisher King is one that I am very much looking forward to getting that on 4K. I saw the review on Blu-ray.com, and it's making me even more excited about that. So I get the sense that that's going to be an absolute double thumbs up upgrade. So I'm looking forward to that. The Servant gives me Parasite vibes for someone who has seen it. Is that an accurate assumption or not? Good question. I'm happy for Barry Jenkins getting a film into the collection. However, this is one I don't care for. I'd way rather see Moonlight if Beale Street Could Talk or an Underground Railroad box set. Yeah, I mean, that would have been interesting for sure. And who knows, maybe those could come, as well as something for Under the Influence, where he talked about Chungking Express and In the Mood for Love. Okay. I was hoping Criterion would release Fast Times at Ridgemont High 4K. That could be coming. I mean, we shall see. That could be coming. And I would probably be interested in picking that up. Yep, absolutely. Moonlight, another A24 release. I like the cinematography for Moonlight was brilliant. The movie was so-so in my opinion. Okay. Moonlight is nothing short of a masterpiece. you see the differences in opinions. It was so-so in my opinion, nothing short of a masterpiece. And that's the beautiful thing about the love of film is that, one person has one thought about a film, another person has another thought about it. You may love a film, I may hate it, or vice versa. And that's the beautiful thing about these films. So it's top 5 favorites of the 2010s. This is the other A24 Best Picture winner. Yep. I couldn't care less about this Pasolini box set. I'm happy that the large box sets aren't dead, but man, I just don't care about Pasolini. I'm just hoping that one day we'll get an Akira Sawa or Ozu box set. Yeah, that would be great. This is the month before the July sale. So I'm really interested to see. Come back here next month when we talk about the July titles, because I have a feeling that's going to be a very exciting release slate, because that's going to be during the Barnes and Noble sale. So that should be a really, really exciting one. Thumbs up again. I've only seen an Oedipus Rex and Teorema out of the films in the box set. I'll have to check out the others. Yeah. I like a Yasuhiro Ozu box set. That would be cool. Ozu box set would be awesome. Agreeing with that. I believe Terrence Stamp was also in another Criterion release, The Hit. That's right, he was with John Hurt, I believe. Yes, absolutely. Good call. Pasolini sounds boring. You know, hey, to some people he is. You know, I don't know. I am about to find out. Teorema is an excellent film. There are a few films that I still didn't see yet that I would like to see, including Women Talking. It's worth seeing. Might watch a Pasolini film or two before July to see if I want to go for that box set. Okay. Triangle of Sadness was in my top 10 of last year. I loved it. Awesome. Moonlight, a modern masterpiece. Awesome. Yeah. You know, I'll have to check it out. Super excited for the Pasolini set. Even if I don't love every film, I know they'll all be interesting. Cool. So yeah, so those are the 5 titles that are coming out. Let me do a quick recap of what is coming out in the month of June from the Criterion Collection, and then we will go ahead and we'll wrap it up. But if we look again, these are the 5 titles that are coming out. We're getting The Rules of the Game from Jean Renoir on 4K on June the 6th. We're getting Time Bandits on 4K, another Terry Gilliam film coming out on 4K this year. That is coming out June the 13th. So both of these are existing Blu-rays in the Criterion Collection getting 4K upgrades. Rules of the Games come out on 4K, no HDR indicated so far. Time Bandits is getting 4K with Dolby Vision. The Servant is coming out, a new spy number in the collection from Joseph Losey. This is the director of Mr. Klein. This is his second release in the collection. Barry Jenkins is entering the collection for the first time with Medicine for Melancholy. That's coming out on June the 20th. So that is interesting. This is his, I believe, his feature film debut. And arguably the biggest release of the month is Pasolini 101, the 9-film box set, the early works of Pier Paolo Pasolini from 1961 to 1969. This is a box set that's coming out on Tuesday, June the 27th. So that is the slate for Criterion for the month of June. And it looks to be a really, really nice one. So let's see. Let me get these last comments and I want to share a couple other things and then we're going to be out of here. When is the Criterion 50% off flash sale? Good question. Let's stay on the watch. Maybe next week. We shall see. Don't know for sure, but fingers crossed that it's coming soon. And when it does, I will announce it on this channel. I have the Trilogy of Life, which I recommend. Okay. Great live stream, James. Thank you, Jerrison. Glad you enjoyed it. If you want to Hail Mary prediction for not July sale, but for the November sale, I think we could potentially get a 4K release of Park Chan-wook's Old Boy. Okay, from Criterion, 20th anniversary. We shall see. Also, I enjoyed your recent videos. Thank you. Thank you, Jerrison. I appreciate that. See you later, James. See you, Jerrison. Thank you for the live stream. It was great. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Katie. Our guest is March 21st. That's a good guess. Do you just double dip for your favorite movies? It depends on the film. You know, there are some that I would and some that I would not. I recently did for Dazed and Confused. Very happy with that upgrade to 4K. 21st, you're thinking that? Okay. I'm not familiar with Pasolini's early stuff. His stuff after that, the 3 in his Trilogy of Life and Set and Solo, I don't care for it all. Okay. Maybe a Vengeance Trilogy box set. Do you collect steelbooks? I do collect some, like some of the Lionsgate steelbooks are awesome. Like I have the Hurt Locker, have Reservoir Dogs, you know, the Limey. So it just depends. I'm not a big steelbook person, but I do collect some steelbooks. Jairus and I mainly mention it because Neon has the United States rights to Old Boy 4K and have a very good relationship with Criterion. Ah, cool. Yeah, so there you have it. So let me just give you a quick rundown of some things that are coming up here on the channel that I want you to be aware of. So let me see here. Of course, this is director Barry Jenkins. He did Moonlight, getting a new release. This coming Saturday night at 10 p.m., I am going to be doing a live stream on a TV series that I really, really enjoyed on HBO Max. It is the TV adaptation of the acclaimed video game series, The Last of Us. Of course, this is The Last of Us on HBO Max, doing a season 1 review. And of course, I have my friends, guests my guests, Eddie and Haley of Fans of Something. I was on their channel last night for a brief period talking about The Last of Us. And, Eddie and Haley from Fans of Something are going to be joining me this coming Saturday night to talk about The Last of Us and just what we think about season 1 and give our review. Spoiler alert, we loved it. Okay. I can't even hide it. I just loved The Last of Us. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. And so I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts on this TV series, season 1 of it from HBO Max. That will be Saturday night. That will be Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So join us then. And then, of course, next week, we have this man here. We have Neo. We have Keanu. We have the man coming back as John Wick in John Wick 4. I'll be doing an out of the theater reaction for John Wick 4 next week. So be on the lookout for that. I am really looking forward to this sequel. I do need to kind of rewatch 1, 2, and 3 just to sort of get myself back into that world. But I am really looking forward to John Wick 4 and looking forward to doing a review of or doing my out of the theater reaction on this channel. So with that, I will sort of leave it there. Criterion is a nice slate for the month of June. There are a couple of titles that I definitely have my eye on. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they release or plan to release in July coming up. So let's be on the lookout for that. But let's be on the lookout for some news potentially coming up on perhaps a flash sale. We shall see. And if there is, I will let you know on this channel. So with that, I will leave it there. Hope you all have a fantastic night. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you're watching this on replay or what have you, let me know what you think about these titles and which ones you plan to pick up for the month of June. And let me know what your wish list is for future Criterion releases. Let me know all that goodness in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time at the movies. Peace. Have a great night, everybody, and a great rest of the week.